Hello, folks. Louisiana, Massachusetts, and Indiana, in whatever order you want to place it. Tonight is examining Old Milwaukee since 1955.
Yep.
And maybe we should have waited until next year because it'd be the 60th anniversary. Our friend Eric, I believe you're muted, buddy. All right. Yeah, he's got the mute on. All right, we've got John from Indiana, and let's start a pouring with me as well.
Okay.
Eric, you're muted, bud. All right, now.
Okay, I was a little distracted. I'm back on now.
Okay, fine. Hey, you know, Old Milwaukee. This is interesting because we had at least one person that wanted to join us tonight, but he couldn't because he couldn't find this stinking beer. He could not find this beer. He was all riding around the Houston area yesterday, North Houston, and he kept stopping in stores, and they didn't have it. Even one store that the Old Milwaukee website said was available there, it wasn't there. And
Yeah,
I had a heck of a time.
Two times to find it.
Oh, I had a hard time. John did too a bit, I believe.
Yeah. So you can get it about anywhere you want to in Louisville, but here where I live, right across the river, I mean, I had a heck of a time finding it. Yeah,
it's all over New Orleans, but in my town, Laplace, it has been evacuated from Laplace the last 6 months for whatever strange reason now. Anyway, you know, Old Milwaukee is a beer that's close to 6 decades old. It was introduced by Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company in 1955. It used to be a very popular beer, as you all know, but for whatever reason, they stopped doing advertisements for it in the early 90s, and it has faded down to almost, you know, it's got me worried because it might wind up like Falstaff. I remember in the mid-90s, you could still find Falstaff, and then it was just gone.
Gone. I mean, it was just one day gone.
Yeah, and I contacted Pabst Brewing Company and I asked them what happened, and they said, we discontinued it because nobody was buying it.
Really?
Yeah, well, how could you buy it if you couldn't find it? But anyway,
I got a pretty good head on mine.
Yeah, I did the pour right down the center this time. As companies say to do with their lagers. I think it's clear.
Yeah, I got this wide brim glass, so I didn't get much head.
Gotcha.
It would have developed if I'd had a Pilsner glass, but it's super clear and straw color. And anybody want to tell the audience the alcohol content?
Was it like 4.5? I think.
Yeah, 4.7.
There you go.
I've got some Limburger cheese and crackers to go with it.
Very nice. Can't say I've had Limburger before.
Yeah, Limburgers are very strong cheese and very expensive. It cost me $6.49 for a little 8-ounce block of it. But I wanted to try it. I heard so much about it my whole life. Anyway, Old Milwaukee now, you know, their old tagline was, it doesn't get any better than this. And Eric, you probably don't even remember those commercials. I know John does.
Yeah, I remember.
I've heard that slogan before. I've never seen the commercial.
And John can tell you what the theme, those commercials always had the same theme.
Yeah. What was it? Shoot, what was it? Now now it's lost me.
It was guys out fishing, hunting, steaming clams, and they would talk about the excitement of, and it would be an actual location, like there was a place in Louisiana they did one of the commercials, and Beatico Creek. And then they would settle down. It would always be guys, you know, and they would settle down for the evening and have like a fire going, and they'd be drinking the Old Milwaukee straight out the can. Well, of course, they never drank in the commercials, but, you know, they'd be holding the can, and they'd say Old Milwaukee because it doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, Will Ferrell's doing all these new commercials with that same slogan. He's like fishing next to a bridge or something at a river.
Right. That's right.
Will Ferrell's keeping it relevant. He's trying at least, or they're paying him to try. I don't know which one it is.
There's that one famous picture of him. What is he standing out in the middle of a wheat field with an Old Milwaukee?
Yeah, apparently he actually did this for free on his own. He just liked the beer, and he started doing his own YouTube commercials. And of course, the company said, "Well, heck, keep going, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Head is gone. Gone, just about.
Yeah, I've got some pretty good lacing left on mine, though.
Yeah. You know, for whatever reason, even my brother was saying it when he came down and noticed it in the fridge. Everybody that I've talked to that I've said, I'm drinking Old Milwaukee or I'm doing a review, this is the one beer, even over the Natty Light, this is the one beer that people have really, 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 I mean, super really negative connotations and bad experiences about. They have such a harsh opinion on this beer. Out of any beer that I've ever heard of in my age range, it's Old Milwaukee. They say no thank you.
Isn't that strange? Because you both know that I have been putting some posts about all the awards it won.
Yes.
Bronze, silver, and gold medals. Numerous times at the Great American Beer Festival, so that must mean something. Now, somebody put a comment on one of my videos saying, that doesn't mean anything. He said the Great American Beer Festival is the Special Olympics of beer festivals. But I never heard that. Where did you get that from?
No, I've never picked that up. I did read an article, though, about the president over the Great American Beer Festival about he done a survey and went through and tasted a bunch of these beers that the quality of the beers just wasn't there on some of these beers that he thought they should be. So
right.
That's a lot of these mom and pop shows. So
yeah,
I find this. I don't know. I find this to have a extremely metallic taste, huge metallic taste in my can.
Let's look at the aroma first. I'm picking up just sweetness and a stereotypical American style lager aroma, to tell you the truth.
You can't really discern on the individual types of grains or even the hops.
And I have to tell you, Eric, in the flavor, I'm getting just a sweet beer flavor, much similar, very similar to what you would get in a Milwaukee's Best or a Coors Banquet or a let me think. I was going to say Schlitz, but I think Schlitz is a little hoppier. I think
so. This is just a little bit. Beer. To me, this is just a little bit lighter than the Coors Banquet.
Yes.
I think it's very comparable to that, though.
Yeah.
The can is extremely metallic tasting. I might have to get another one and try that. That's all I'm getting right now.
Yeah, I'm getting no metal at all. I have to tell you, I'm not picking up the slightest metallic in my...
The bottom of the can says June 23rd, 2014. Not sure if that means this is old by now.
It's old, but that shouldn't matter because Miller, who does the brewing, they said it should be good a year out from the date. So
I'm all right, I guess. Wow.
Hello.
What date do you have on the bottom of yours, Eric?
June 23rd of this year.
And mine's June 30th of this year. So.
Huh. So they're all pretty much around the same time.
Mine's August 11th, so I got a pretty fresh can. No metal at all.
I think that's kind of going away now, actually, to tell you the truth.
I've got a light to medium body.
It's very light.
Yeah.
There is a slight hop note, but it's slight. The IBU on this is probably, I would say, around 12. I think that's the IBU on most of these American style adjunct lagers. I'll tell you what. To me, this really is designed to be an economy beer, which is what they claim it is.
Definitely.
A going fishing beer, hanging out at the bonfire after the barbecue, that type of thing. And that's what the commercials always promoted. They never once said this was a world-class beer or it was, gourmet. And it wasn't designed to be that. It was designed to be a budget beer for the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company. And but to me, it's one of the better ones. But that's just me.
I think it's a good beer, and I agree with you. It's one of those beers if you want to have a couple beers after mowing your yard or hanging out around the pool or the lake or something. It's a budget beer. I give like $4.60 for a 6-pack, which is very comfortable. for a budget beer, I mean that's very comparable.
Yeah,
I can't find this in 6-packs. I get a 12 for I think $8.49, which is probably I guess a ripoff on that beer.
no, that's about right.
It's like what's that come down to? Like what? Like 71 cents a can or something like that?
Yeah.
Or 73 cents a can.
Over here, if you do find 6-packs, if you're lucky enough, these pint cans,
Yeah.
you'll pay about $4.99 to $5.99.
That's pretty good. I mean, it's. I don't really see in my age range why people are What's the complaint about the beer? I mean, it is extremely light and watery, and it's sweet and just tastes like a normal beer. But because it's so light and watery, it's very easy to put this beer down. So I can't really find anything that's really wrong about the beer. I don't know why people are having such a hard time wanting to drink the beer.
Yeah, there's nothing off about it, and there's certainly nothing harsh about it that I can see.
It just has it's one of the weaker tasting beers in the adjunct lagers that I think I've had. I mean, weak as in everything is extremely light in it, including all of that sweetness.
Yeah, it's going really well with this cheese and crackers, I gotta say. But I like these type of beers with food because to me, those really strong beers, they don't complement the food. They sort of interfere with the food. Sometimes I get that opinion, but this would go well with, I think, Mexican food or pizza.
Oh, you can tear this up with some good pizza.
Hell yeah.
I think
it's 138 calories, this beer, so that's not serving, so.
130. I thought it was 155. I was looking at the Old Milwaukee website yesterday. I thought they said 155.
Somewhere around there.
It says 138. Estimated calories, 138.
Looking on Rate Beer, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they always say estimated calories. But no, I looked on the actual Old Milwaukee website yesterday, and they said 155. But that's still not high.
No.
Oh, boy, what a burp. Now, if you remember in the early 90s, might have been late 80s, 89, Stroh's, I think, made a bad mistake. They changed the image of Old Milwaukee. Remember, the guys were out there at the campsite saying it doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the Swedish bikini team came came flying in. Remember that? The Swedish bikini team stood up, and that became kind of a big deal about 3 or 4 years in a row. But it was controversial, But you remember that, the Swedish bikini team.
Yeah. but I tell you what I just noticed here. Eric's got an old label, and I've got a new label, and we're only about 3 days apart on taste.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mine doesn't say... Mine in the middle here has the little old M. It doesn't even say OM.
No.
Oh, yeah, you got the previous label.
That one.
Wow. Yeah, they just recently updated their... can design and bottle design, and
that's
you got
the one they have on their website.
Yeah, you probably got the last. You might have gotten the last can ever made from that design.
Yeah.
I mean, no joke. No, I'm not being flip.
Huh?
Because your day's 2 days behind mine, right?
Yeah, mine's the 23rd.
Mine's the 30th. So yeah, you probably got one of the very last ones off the production line.
Now,
Old Milwaukee's a collectible. What do you know?
yeah, I wouldn't really make a joke about that because you'd be surprised how many people are really fanatical about collecting beer cans and bottles. I'll tell you.
Right on. I got 11 more to go.
Yeah, now they have changed the Old Milwaukee label so many times in the last 59 years. It's incredible, really, how many times they changed it. It always says Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company.
Yeah, it does say that.
Of course, that company doesn't exist, and it has not existed for 32 years. But it might legally exist on paper, you know what I mean?
Right around here. Now, I noticed when I was looking up the beer that it said that the adjunct was, what was it, high fructose corn syrup, just like with the Pabst Brewing. I don't know, is that a adjunct that they normally use in the Pabst Brewing beers?
Okay, this is a controversial thing. Now, before we go on to that, some people have accused me of being a shill or working for the big companies some kind of way. I don't know where they get this idea.
Oh, I get it.
I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway.
Team player, not team hater.
Right. Anyway, moving on. Look, Pabst Blue Ribbon, on their website, they say they use corn syrup as the adjunct.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really list that. They don't list the ingredients on the Old Milwaukee website. But my opinion, or not my opinion, what I surmise is that probably a lot of beer companies use corn syrup as the adjunct.
Right.
But I mean, how would I know? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take my time to go ask them all. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but I mean, I'm sure corn syrup is a very common commodity. I know Miller. Now, Miller says they use yellow corn grits. So, but maybe for the Pabst beers, they just use straight up corn syrup. I don't know.
Gotcha. I don't even remember where I read that, but I found that information somewhere on the interwebs.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta watch that, but.
Yeah, but I just kind of thought that was interesting because I know that Pabst uses that, and they say they use that in the Blue Ribbon beer.
And you can kind of taste that in the beer in Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
What shocked me, here's a bottle. Now, you don't usually see 12-ounce bottles of Old Milwaukee.
Nope. I mean, you might see the 40-ounce. That's about it for bottles.
I bought a 6-pack of these 12-ounce bottles in I don't remember the year, but it was in Richmond, Wisconsin, because I said, oh yeah, I want this 12-ounce bottle for my collection. Boy, you know what I did? I left it at the hotel in a bag. I was coming back from I went to New York City, and I was driving back home, and I realized, oh, what have I done? So I called the hotel. I said, look, I left that beer in a paper bag in the hotel room. No joke, the motel room. And the owner of the motel was like, hold on a minute. He said, let me go check. Yeah, we have the beer. It is in the back behind the counter. I said, well, look, could you hold that for me? He said, we will hold it for you. So I stopped. I got off the interstate on the way back. I went in there. They had the beer. I was so terrified that I wouldn't be able to get that beer. But anyway, I didn't care about the beer. I wanted the bottles for my collection. You know what I'm saying? Mm. And they had these bottles about 3 years ago. They had 32-ounce quart bottles in Louisiana.
Wow.
Yeah, right around here. And then all of a sudden, now we don't even get it in any, form. Let me show y'all this. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to ask you, have you ever seen it or had it?
What is it? Old Milwaukee Ice? Never seen it.
Never seen it? Mm-mm.
No.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is about one of the rarest things you'll ever lay eyes on.
There's got to be a specialized market for that.
Look. Old Milwaukee Light, yes. I can drive to Lafayette, Louisiana, which is 100 miles from here, and I can get that.
I can get the light, Old Milwaukee Light.
But ice, I have never seen it, ever. But I had a viewer that was watching my videos. He said, I'm going to send you the ice. I said, look, I don't even think that exists. He said, oh, yeah. He sent it to me, and boy, when I opened that box, I said, oh, I gasped. I said, wow. But I don't even know if they make this anymore because they don't refer to it at all on their website.
Now, did you drink it or did you save the can?
Oh, I drank it. I don't play around with it. Oh, yeah.
I don't play around.
It was really good, but I was shocked, but, boy, what a treasure,
I got several bottles in the basement I've had since the 90s that I've never even opened.
Oh, wow. I've got so many Old Milwaukee cans around here. They've changed the design. Just since I started drinking beer in February '96, they've changed it during design.
Yeah, I got some old cans in the basement boxes. But,
I tell you what, I was working for 8 hours today in that hot warehouse, and which is fun because I'm around a lot of beer, and I get to see what comes in, and I get tipped off to what's coming out next. But I tell you what, coming back here, and it's warm today and all, even though it's raining outside, and you heard that thunderclap.
Yeah.
It's really refreshing. I'm enjoying the heck out of it.
I enjoy these beers. I mean, it's like you. They're light. They're refreshing. I mean, they go down easy. They don't leave a bad aftertaste in your mouth.
No. People say it's
one. To me, this one has a little bit of that, like a wet, grainy paper or like a cardboard kind of a deal is what I'm starting to notice a little bit. Not that that's an off-putting flavor, but that's just sort of what I'm noticing there.
Kind of like corn husk or something like that.
Yeah, exactly, corn husk. Yeah, that's a good word for it.
I get those in a lot of these type beers, but I just don't think it's a crap beer. I don't know.
No,
I don't think it's the best. I don't think it's the best adjunct lager that we've tried yet, or that's probably out there. There's probably better ones. I think the PBR is a little bit better than this, but you really can't say anything tremendously negative here at all.
No, I don't think so. And you two guys might notice that I have been doing these beer taste challenges from time to time.
Yep.
Hey, the only thing I prove with those taste challenges is that, one, I can't tell the beers apart, and two, if you're going to buy an American adjunct lager, you may as well buy the cheapest one available because they all taste almost the same.
Yeah.
I mean, and these are blind taste tests. I do not know which beer I'm tasting, and I swear I cannot tell them apart. And that's what
I would think this beer and the Milwaukee's Best might be pretty difficult to tell apart.
Yeah.
Because I just bought a 12-pack of that to maybe do next week or whenever we get around to doing that. Yeah. And I tried a little bit of that earlier, and it is very, very similar to this. Very.
Yeah, I would be extremely interested in doing an examination of Milwaukee's Best because that's a beer with quite a bit of history. One more thing I want to bring up. Old Milwaukee Light came out in 1982. And one thing I noticed about their can design, up until the 90s, it was a red can, which is kind of unusual because if you notice, most light beers through history have always had a blue and silver color scheme. But that one had a red and silver color scheme. But they went ahead and went to the blue and blue.
Right. And they've changed it. It looks just like the old Milwaukee can, but it's blue and white now.
Yep.
You look at most light beer cans, you're going to see blue and white. Mm-hmm. Some it's going to almost always have blue, and if you look at ice beers, they're almost always going to be blue and silver with maybe some red highlights. Just something I noticed. I look at beer cans and bottles a lot, and I pick up on things like that. Doesn't really matter. It's just I notice it, you know. Okay, so I think the general consensus here is that it's a pretty good beer.
Yeah, I would even play devil's advocate slightly and say it's a slightly below average lager, but in saying that, there is no reason why you can't pick this up and drink it and not have a overall generally fine experience drinking the beer.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot better lagers out there for the value that you can buy that would be better than this. But again, nothing wrong with this beer at all.
No, and I like the little hoppy aftertaste. Talking about value, I was drinking that Schaefer Light. I'll tell you what, that Schaefer Light is probably a step above what you're normally going to get with an American-style light beer. I have to say that. But Schaefer Light is so darn rare.
Yeah, we barely get Schaefer where I am. The only time I've seen Schaefer is in a 40-ounce bottle in my area. That's it.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen it around here.
And that's where the Patriots used to play, Schaefer Stadium.
Right. I had to go into the inner city in Baltimore to get a bottle of this stuff.
That's what I bought. Yep.
But it's not sold in Louisiana, and it has not been sold here for 15 years at least. But
That's a dying brand.
Oddly enough, we do get the Schaefer Light, which is bizarre. But I think we should look at Milwaukee's Best next go round.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that. Yeah.
I bought it. Yep.
And I think John and I were even willing to go out on a limb and talk about malt liquors. Hey,
I can throw down with that, sure.
I can throw down with malt liquors any day.
Yeah.
That's a challenge. Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Now they got the shatterproof bottles. They're all plastic now.
Yeah.
Malt liquor, what you know?
A lot of them are now.
And ice beers, you know, it's like an endless amount of possibilities. There's no reason to limit ourselves, you know what I mean?
But and you brought up a good point. I mean, I think we need to examine a lot of these beers because it's like what you said. In another 10 years or less, these beers may not exist.
There's no doubt about it. You know, if they would have had this kind of technology 15 years ago, we'd have had a recording of an examination of Falstaff. Now, I mean, you know, that's a heartbreaker. That's a heartbreaker.
That was a decent beer too.
Was it? Oh, I loved it. It was.
I missed the boat on that one.
Oh man, what? And look, and don't even mention Meisterbrow. So
Yes, that was a fun. I liked that real well.
oh man, I could.
That's what Cousin Eddie was drinking on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I don't know. Oh, wow.
Oh man, I got a special place in my heart for Meisterbrow.
Right,
No
yeah.
joke, man. But
Yeah.
anyway, but you see, we missed the. You know, everybody missed the boat on that because you're not thinking they're going to cancel it.
Yeah.
And when I wrote that email to Miller and they told me it got canceled, well, I just couldn't believe it. I said, oh, no, not Meisterbrow. But so you don't play around with these type of beers. When they look like they could be dying out, you better jump on them because chances are they are dying out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I
anyway.
thought about that with this beer.
Yeah, so I enjoyed drinking it, and I only bought one can, I have to tell you. But
Yeah.
you know, I could go buy more if I needed to. But anyway, it was fun looking at it. I mean, to me, it's always fun looking at these beer brands. I do not get bored looking at beer brands. I'm telling you.
Yeah. There's so many to look at. I mean, I don't think we've even hit the tip of the iceberg on these adjunct lagers yet.
All we've done is scratch the surface just a little,
Just a peck in the surface.
Yeah.
just a little bitty bit. And
And I honestly, I hope we can continue on with this and still once a week or whatever we want to do and keep this tradition going of these legacy type beers.
And I'm going to say, if
100%
anybody watches these reviews and wants to join in, all you got to do is contact the man right here, Jay, and he will hook you up for doing a review with us. We just want people to have fun and join in. That's all.
anybody, but you just got to have the beer, and it's not about it's not about bashing the beer. This is not what it's about. I mean, you know, obviously some people don't like this style. That's not a problem. That's not an issue. There's so many styles of beer, and everybody likes what they like. That's not. But it's just to examine the beer brand and talk about it and see what we think about it. That's all. And you know, I even had some people say I'd like to go on the show, but they were scared that they might not like it and everybody would gang up on them. I said that will not happen.
Well,
No.
that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool if you join up on the beer review and you've never had a beer before, because that's your real actual experience, and you're not, you know, scripted in saying what you think, because you had no idea before you go into it. It's live.
Right,
Innocent.
but Eric, they were scared they would come on here and they wouldn't like the beer and people would gang up on them. I said that will not happen. That will not happen. But you know,
We don't care about that. We're telling you that right now. We don't care. We just want you to have an opinion. That's all.
but they probably had an experience where they got on some Facebook page or some beer review site and they said, well, I don't like this beer that much, and then, you know,
Somebody like rah, 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 rah.
oh yeah, and people ganged up on them. You can't say that. And it's like as if somebody has to like certain things. I mean, it's ridiculous.
The first time I ever tried, I think it was the Goose Island Bourbon County Stout. That's when I first started drinking beers, and I bought it because I like Guinness. Maybe I'll like this stout. And I remember doing a really bad review, and people were hitting me up on Beer Advocate, like, how could you even say that? That's blasphemous. That's like the best beer on earth. I'm like, really? I didn't think it was at the time, but maybe it will be now if I try it again. Taste buds, we all do develop and change, and even if you don't like these beers, you may find the redeeming quality in them over time. Just don't pass them up and say no.
Yeah, and something I was thinking about last week, I said to myself, I said, you know, I don't think you could really ever give a fair review of any beer unless you drank it about 5 times. I'm serious.
Exactly. And you know, I agree 100% with that. You have to drink more than one. I think I'm like you, 5 times before you review it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I never do it. I drink one and I review it and another. But you know, I tend to try to be favorable toward the beer because I don't want to say, you know, this is terrible. You know, I mean, I only drink it once. A lot of times I'll come back a month later and drink it, and I'll say, damn, that beer was pretty good. Why did I write that review so harsh? You know, so I try to.
Sometimes it's like that with styles. There's a lot of difference. I know that for me, it took me a while to really, even a few years actually, to get into Belgian-style beers and IPAs. Those were really harder. I mean, these aren't that difficult because they don't have as much going on, and they don't slam you as much in the face. But those just took a little bit of a while to get accustomed to it and to actually really find something, you know, really good about them. And it may take a craft beer guy a little bit of a time to say, well, actually, I admit it now. There's really not anything tremendously wrong with the beer like Old Milwaukee. I finally admit it now.
But the thing about it is, with beers like this, I mean, and it's like we've talked before, I mean, that's why, and like you said, Jay, I mean, you need to drink about 5 beers before you really do an honest review about it, because you might drink a beer today and do a review on it, but you might get a different batch a month from now, and that whole batch will be different from the batch you reviewed the first time.
Yeah, now the chances of that are not that good when you're talking about a macro beer. Now, you get these mass-produced beers, they're probably going to be identical batch to batch, like a Samuel Adams or Nevada Pale Ale or Old Milwaukee or Schlitz. But when you get into the craft beers, you got to do it, I think, at least 5 times, because you start getting that variation, you know. But,
there's going to be a slight variation in those beers.
Yeah, because their quality control may not be as scientific as your big brewers, just because they don't have the money to pay for all of that. But anyway, but it's fun doing it. So we're going to close it out because we can't go on forever. But we appreciate people watching it.
And if you guys want to join in, hit Jay up, hit me up, hit Eric up. Let's all get in this and do it. Let's do a mass production of it.
Only requirement is to be a part of Google+.
Yep.
Because that's not our rule. That's just the rule to get on.
You can go on YouTube and search up all of your complaints about Google+. We won't get into that today.
No.
Don't say it. All right. Well, y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Until next time, keep tasting those great beers. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.